GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. Well, it's not a Daily Gun Show, I guess. This is the Instagram. I'm getting all... That's how much muscle memory there is after 5,000 shows then when I hear that intro. Today we're featuring a new thing, our pastry of the day. Today it is this cream puff sitting right here. Not this cream puff, but this cream puff sitting right here. Also, a little challenge for little dude, if he can sit next to a cream puff this close to a cream puff. For how long? So today's pastry is the cream puff. A lot of people don't know what a cream puff is. Now you've seen one in real life. Let us know what you think as we move into the show here. If you're a fan of the cream puff, or if not, we are here to talk about the Instagram. You might hear in the background the co-host is freaking out because he's been running all around. He's got himself all worked up. We'll put him down. If it's too much, let us know in the comments. If it's too much, we'll put him down. So, he's not that good a co-host. If it's annoying, like I say, we'll just put him down. G23 was the first one out here today. We do this show live. Thanks to everybody who joins us on the live side of it. If you're listening in the podcast, the only way we know that is if you leave a comment out there or come around live and say, hey, I listened to this as a podcast. Something like that. So thanks for the folks that are out here tonight. Mike White is also out here saying happy every second matters. Right on. All right, so it is the second of the month, and Every Second Matters is just an awareness campaign. If you're interested in participating in it, the idea is to do something on the second, which is creates awareness for what our Second Amendment protects. Unapologetically armed, saying putting him down seems a little harsh. Well, right now he's about 3 feet off the ground on the table here. Now he's getting himself comfortable. So when I say put him down, I mean I put him on the ground. For him, that's fate worse than the other kind of putting him down, though. He does not like it. We'll go back to the cream puff. Today's pastry is the cream puff. His freaking out has nothing to do with the cream puff, though. It's because he was running all around earlier. He's not panting that loudly. Good to hear. So we won't put him down. We won't cut nothing. All right, let's get into Instagram, though. That's what we're all here for. So here's the thing. Instagram is a social media platform. It's failing. It's dying. It's not that good. It used to be good for a while. I liked it during, let's see now, probably 2013 through 2017 maybe is when I really liked it. And then it started getting less and less interesting. I guess I can look over here. This isn't anything. It's just somebody commenting. Getting a comment from Gun Culture 2.0 on one of his posts. So we got Clover Tack shilling for 380 over here, and old man guns that you can't rack a slide. Unapologetically armed over on the Instagram and over here. Good afternoon. So this is my Instagram, and if you scroll through it, you'll see all kinds of interesting stuff. Mike Ozzy Osbourne is over here doing another post for Every Second Matters. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to zoom in on the browser window. See how I did that? I right-clicked up at the top there, and I can zoom in. Another way to do it is to hold down the control key on my keyboard and wiggle my scroll wheel. So I get the Instagram bigger. I'm going to pull it out to the whole screen. There's no need to just have it small. And once I bring this thing big enough so we can see the picture better, because that is a nice looking Ruger, You okay, guy? You okay, my friend? You okay? You doing all right, little buddy? Okay, he's all right now. It's a pretty nice looking Ruger, even though it's got wood grips on it. It's got the Every Second Matters business card going with a speed loader and those Phillips screwdriver bullets that are so good if you need to unscrew something with a Phillips screwdriver while you're carrying. But here's the deal. You can heart something, and when you heart something, other people can look in on that and go, look who's hearting that stuff. So we can say Terribly Tactical's out there, Jesse B. Outdoors, Lakeview Outdoors, me, Artak and Daughters, DTP, me again, and then Foss. Those are the people that hearted up this thing. So you can literally nosy in on that. Imagine the Instagram is keeping track of this for sure. Then you can comment on it. So if I comment on it, it actually leaves a comment that, of course, everyone's going to be able to see. Where is it? They're down here. Thanks for keeping E2M alive another month. And then let the robot spell for me, because spelling is for suckers. And then click post. Now that created a post, right? A reply. It lets people reply to my reply. It lets people share my reply. Lets them heart up my reply, and then people can see who's hearted up what reply. I mean, it gets really weird. But then you can paper airplane it. And if I was on a phone, I could use this little paper airplane to scoot this post right up into my circles up here. And then it's in my circles for 24 hours, like all of these things are. I don't really look up here too often because I ain't got time for all that. But then the last part over here, this little ribbon, that's where you jam it up into one of your folders. And look at how many folders I got. You don't have to have this many folders. It's okay. You can have just one or two folders if you want, but I have a bunch of folders. And when I jam it up in there, I can tell it, go to the Every Second Matters folder. So I'll show you why that's important in a second here. So we'll go through, we'll click on this one and click the little ribbon there. And you can see somewhere here, now it's going to show me garbage, stuff that other people are watching, and you can tell it's a cat video. I don't go around watching cat videos. So somebody's been watching a cat video that I know, and now it's showing me what they watched, thinking, hey, whoa, we almost had a cream puff incident. Almost had a cream puff incident. All right, now we know that he's aware of the cream puff, and maybe some of this spaz is in regards to the cream puff after all. All right, we might have a bad dog situation going on here. I'm going to test this. Hold on. Let's flip screen this. First off, let's get out of that cat video. Nobody needs to see that. Then we're going to flip screen this around, and everybody can see what's going on here. Bad dog, cream puff. Cream puff minding its own business. Bad dog, right? I'm just gonna see what happens if I move that cream puff a little bit closer. No big deal. No big deal. We'll just leave it out like this. Everyone can monitor in real time if that dog is bad or not. Go back to main screen, flip it over. Everybody can monitor. I have a banner going down at the bottom of the screen. It's a good time to mention. If you look down here, beyond the cream puff, it says, thanks to our Patreons and our channel members to give us the time and the ability to do projects like this. And there's a link to our Patreon. Patreon's a platform where you can subscribe to projects like ours, other people that do interesting things, and you empower them with sometimes a cup of coffee. Most of the people that subscribe to our project are at the $5 level, so it's essentially a cup of coffee each month. And we accumulate that money and pay for a bunch of servers and stuff. We just did sort of a summary of all that over on Patreon. But we do appreciate that. It lets us do things that aren't financially viable. And talking about Second Amendment in a realistic way and not getting paid by anybody, not getting told what to say, it doesn't get a lot of money. So I do appreciate the people that value it enough to support our projects with that subscription. So we're going to be monitoring over here the cream puff and the bad dog, and I'll move this camera out so everybody can see what's going on there in real time, and we'll get back to what we're here for, the Instagram. So I kind of ran down what's coming up on my Instagram right now, but also I wanted to show you how Instagram works, because now we're going to head over to our Instagram. And I don't even know how to do that. How do I get to my own Instagram over here? I think I zoomed out too far. Let me zoom back in. Look at, he's like, oh, I'm just sniffing the ground. I'm not sniffing around for that cream puff. I'm just looking around on the ground for some other reason. Y'all can monitor the cream puff situation down here. Cream puff, bad dog. G23 is showing up. Lakeview's out there. Good afternoon. I don't think I'm missing anybody. So now we're at my Instagram, right, the channel, and now we're going to go to that saved place like I was talking about. And all of these are my different saved folders. And if we look at the Every Second Matters folder, we'll see Mike Ozzy Osbourne's picture right there. There's this one from last month. You can see how often Ozzy posts, quite a bit. In fact, more often than anybody else probably. But there's other people that have, and whenever we see one, I save it and I put it into this Every Second Matters folder. That's one of our kittens from back in the day. So going back up to the top, why don't we go to this week's saved folders, and that's what we're here for. So that's why I wanted to show you on Ozzy Osbourne's post how to save. Oh, I guess I'm already here. Because that's what we're going to be looking at is our saved pictures. All right, so this is the ones that we just posted right now, and we're going to scroll backwards for about a week. And how to remember how far long ago a week was? That's a good question. Usually I try to find one that I remember talking about. I can remember talking about that cap gun. And I think I remember talking about the USA shooting. So why don't we just start there since it's a good opportunity. It says 7 days ago. That's what we got. So certain dude over here, still eyeballing that cream puff. Just everybody knows that this situation is still going down right now. Cream puff and bad dog showdown. Cream puff's minding his own business. Puppy's trying to act like he's minding it. You seen what he did right there? He just took a really long look at that cream puff. All right, so we're going back to the main screen here, up there. And 1 year away, the USA shooting is our shooting teams. And do I have it? Yeah, we'll talk about shooting teams here in a minute. But so about a year from now, it looks like we'll be shooting in Paris for, I'm guessing, some kind of Olympics, the 2014 Olympics. This is a range, Second Amendment range is in, I want to say Pahrump, but let me double check. It's either Pahrump or Texas, but I think it's in, it's founded in Las Vegas, moved to Pahrump, right? So this is in Pahrump, Nevada. And look at that nice indoor range right there. And they've got the thermometer out, 79 degrees. I think that's a great way to, one, get people aware that you're air conditioning your range, right? We have to do that for environmental, medical reasons. So it'd be a bad idea if everybody inhaled lead. But at the same time, they're conditioning the temperature of the range. So, the ranges are air conditioned all day long. We may as well be taking advantage of that. They're spending the electricity to do it. They're paying for those filters. So especially in the summer when that cost goes up, even more incentive to check out a range. I think that says it's 104 outside, 79 inside. Pretty nice. It's definitely not 79 in here. That's why this dude's having a spaz. So if you're ever out in Vegas, if you want to drive west about an hour or so, it's kind of a nice drive. You get out to Pahrump, and that's where Art Bell used to be. It's also south of, what do they call that place? Area 51. So you seem to be fixated on that cream puff. Well, we have today's pastry of the day is the cream puff. Just have this cream puff, happen to be cream puff sitting here. Fresh cream puff, just sitting there minding its business. And I have a bad dog, so I figured run a little separate test. We'll see what happens. We all know dogs don't like eating cream puff, so he's probably not even interested in that cream puff. Let's see. ATF, 5 most common ATF violations: transferring a firearm to a prohibited person, failing to conduct a background check, falsification of records, failing to respond to the ATF trace request, and refusing ATF's right of entry to conduct an inspection. And this is from the NFSF, and it says, FFLs, do you know which 5 errors in paperwork could cost you your license and your business? All FFLs should know the 5 deadly sins so they can avoid career-ending mistakes. Learn about these 5 errors, and also you should be aware, errors and others that you should be aware of through the link in the NSS bio. Then you got some interesting comments here, snarky comments, you could say. So this is our industry liaison with the government, and what they're supposed to be doing to upskill, train, whatever FFLs, as well as inform the ATF of, I don't know if there's a value that the ATF places on it, but at least they have the potential to be telling the ATF to be the voice of gun shops to the ATF. I don't know how often they're represented as that, but I don't know. Let me know what you think of this one. Next, we get these 2 cops that retired from California, and they call their channel 2A Cops. And this is an old one, but a good one. And it's got What's-Her-Face saying, if you need 30 rounds to hunt, you suck at hunting. And then it's got What's-His-Face from that one movie. If you need a disarmed society to govern, you suck at governing. And I like that one. It sums it up really well. It might be, a little bit too abrasive for some, and you might want to switch out the people or whatever. But I think the point is clear, is made well there. So this is Guns for Everyone up in Colorado. They do free CCW classes for people in Colorado, and then they do a lot more than that now. And Edgar is posting, I guess Facebook gave him some 13-year memory or whatever, where when he was running for state representative in Colorado. It's just a good reminder, right? Like, a lot of people don't run for office. Most of us don't run for office. So come and talk it, the gun shop in Austin. Look, he's just sitting here watching the screen now. The gun shop in Austin that does a radio show. They changed it to a podcast on Wednesdays, and it's called Come and Talk It. And they go live on Wednesdays, and this is kind of a reminder. This is actually a blurb or an excerpt from the show. Then we got Gun Owners of America. This one is kind of interesting. I don't think it's copyright. I think this is from one of the, what are they? One of the, what are they called? Testimonials? I don't know what it was.
From impinging upon those rights.
I'm going to go back one.
That is what is.
And we'll come back up again.
By the way, if you're, I'm going to probably be somewhat contrarian here, but I believe there are no constitutional rights to due process or to ownership of guns. These rights are inalienable and pre-exist the Constitution. Second, Fifth, and 14th Amendments don't grant those rights. They restrain the federal government from impinging upon those rights. And that is what is not being provided by the current fiduciary program. The fiduciary program is effectively a gun control program. It does not matter who takes away the gun rights, whether VA or DOJ takes away the right. I'm going to probably be somewhat contrarian here, but I believe there are no constitutional rights to due process or to ownership of guns. These rights are inalienable and pre-exist the Constitution. Second, Fifth, and 14th Amendments don't grant those rights. They restrain the federal government from impinging upon those rights. And that is what is not being provided by the current fiduciary program.
I don't know. I had let that run because I had to go check something. So hopefully you got the point of that one. That's Gun Owners of America. Are you happy with what they're doing out there? A lot of people seem to be the most happy with Gun Owners of America. So this is Colion Noir posting about this picture that went around quite a bit where the ATF, I guess they're at a range, and for whatever reason, the muzzles are pointed to the right of this photograph, and Dingleberry Doofus wearing his uniform is coming up and essentially trying to dry hump the muzzle of this, looks like an AK, maybe it's some other kind of rifle, but or actually is it a, I don't know what it is. It's some kind. I thought it was an AK originally based on the front sight, but it could be something else if that's a 9mm Magwell. But anyway, whatever he's doing, he's over here trying to be weird to it. And it's a really bad picture because no matter what you got going on, this pistol box is open in front of the muzzles of this. This looks to be the firing line, so the muzzles look to be in the right order, but again, no actual awareness or acknowledgement of any of the actual safety protocols that would be in anybody's mind as any kind of structured training. So there's no excuse for this really, especially if this is something that they posted as a PR picture or something. It's worse than HK putting the magazine, the bullets in the magazine wrong, right? So it says the ATF are the guys responsible for enforcing firearms law. Posted a pic on Twitter that's got the entire gun community that they are trying to rule over shaking their heads. In the photo, ATF Austin agents were caught at a gun range breaking not just one, but two of the fundamental rules of gun safety. It's mind-boggling how these same folks are trying to regulate law-abiding citizens' firearms for your safety, in quotes. So, yeah, it's. I think there's a lot of people being snarky about it. I think Colion Noir did the best job of holding them to the fire in a way that could be absorbed by people who are resistant to this message. Taking something like this and throwing it to the echo chamber is a waste of opportunity and potential. We should not be just laughing at this. When they attempt to suggest that they know more or are better, this should be used to challenge that. Or, things like that should be used to challenge it. So we've got a post going here, and I'll zoom in on what's his fart here to see what he reacts. We'll do a reaction video to this. So this is from Pets for Vets, one of my favorite posts or channels to watch on Instagram. It's got a golden retriever, and it goes, "I guide the blind." And then it's got two little puppies that are some kind of Shelties or something. It says, "We work on the farm," and it's got them herding up some sheeps there. Then it's got this Sherman Shepherd saying, "I help the police," and there's a little police person there. Then it says, "We pull a sled." There's some huskies like Mello doing work, helping out. Then there's a little Oro being a Doberman saying, "I guard property," and it's Oro guarding a pot of gold for Clover. And then it's got this dog and his little fat friend, and it says, "We fart," which is about true. He also makes a lot of noise, and he takes pictures for the internet. He does that pretty good. I thought that was pretty good because these dogs don't do a lot more than he doesn't fart that much, but he doesn't do a lot more than eat and poop. All right, so getting back to Gun Owners of America, this is PowerPoint that's going through from the ATF, and the ATF says on here the passing of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act last year changed the definition of what it means to be engaged in the business of dealing firearms. In blah 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 of the law outlines the changes. Read blah 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 rule / whatever. So they're essentially saying, hey, the rules changed last year on what the definition of being engaged in business. And then there's this slideshow going on. So we'll flip back and forth. We'll flip back and forth, and we'll try to get to the beginning of that slideshow. Do you need a license to buy and sell firearms? It starts. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was signed into law in June 2022. It changed the definition of what it means to be engaged in the business, right? Engaged in the business of dealing in firearms. Is it playing? Okay. Previously, the definition of a dealer, right, required that a person's principal objective is earning a profit through purchasing and reselling firearms, and it include the word livelihood. So that was the previous definition. I guess I didn't have to pause for that long. The definition has changed. It now covers all persons who devote time, attention, and labor to dealing in firearms as a regular course of trade or business to predominantly earn a profit through the repetitive purchase and resale of firearms. So essentially, any profit you might make creates the necessity to be a dealer, ridiculous, over encompassing overreach, just a massive movement of definition, which is creating requirement for enforcement, which is effectively creating law without the ability to do so in the executive branch. Massively, massively. I don't know how much this is getting coverage, but this was one of the most annoying things I've seen this week. And then, does it keep going? Scan the QR code to learn how to apply to an FFL. So that's the message that the ITF is sending out there. Heinous and messed up. If all we're getting is this one post and it's a shitty, not even a good graphic, like crappy post from the GOA, technically.
We finally clarified who needs to register as a federal licensed gun dealer. Because a federally licensed gun dealer is required by law to run background checks on those he's selling a weapon to. And in most cities, down in Philadelphia, New York, areas I know well, like up here, you'd see a truck pull up.
So we're going to complain about him talking about the truck pulling up, and we're going to ignore the massive change in law right there. Massive, 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 massive issue. I hope we're going to get more on it than this snarky, bland post. Our friends Tactical Medic up in Phoenix area went to a gun show in Tulsa, right? How cool is that? That's 1,600 drive for people that don't know. 1,600-mile drive from Arizona to Tulsa. Takes 18 hours if you just drive it, FYI. But if you take a couple of days to get there, it's a 2-day drive. So that's a long way to go. And this wasn't Wanamaker. You know what? We're going to take a break here because I'm about to cough to death.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
All right. So this wasn't the Tulsa gun show that everybody's familiar with, or most people are familiar with, I think. This is, in fact, just some other gun show in Tulsa. So I didn't even know, everybody would go to such a show in Tulsa that isn't so big. But they evidently did, and they set up. There's some pictures. This is them maybe just arriving. I think I saw some other images of their setup at the show. And we'll talk about that a bit more in a second. I'm a little distracted because I'm looking over and it looks like Cape Gunworks does have their show posted already for today. It's going live here in just a few minutes, but we have a minute or two before it actually gets into the meat. They kind of start a little early before they start the broadcast. So we'll post over there on the comments. If you're listening live, there's a link to the Cape Gunworks radio show. Highly recommend you check it out. It is probably my favorite thing to listen to each week. Even if I don't have a chance to listen to anything else Second Amendment related, I'll watch or I'll listen to the Rapid Fire radio show because it's useful. It's worth the time. They have the most focus on what's going on and the least hype and whatnot. So just taking a second to link to that. Now when the show's over, everybody will get recommended to head over there. But yeah, our friends Tactical Medic went to Tulsa. That's 3,500 miles if you think about it, because they have to drive home from there. Professor Yamane went to the NAGA convention, the first convention of the National African American Gun Owners Association in Georgia, and he posted quite a few pictures of it, and I didn't get too many, or I don't have any pictures of it. So he's allowed me to take at least one of his photos and use it. So I'll be using this one here actually for coverage. I'm a little concerned because people that went there to take pictures that I know took pictures, and these are good pictures. They're nice crowded areas, but a couple of pictures I saw made it look empty, and I don't know if they got in early, took a picture, or of the place before it was set up. But I don't know how many people attended. So I'd like to see. She Fires is going to be posting some stuff. Hopefully, she'll probably have more interesting coverage than some of the people that aren't really content creators that I've been following. Like that guy's a writer. You know, his gig isn't to take pictures, so I don't expect his pictures to be so great. All right, so we're going to turn the volume on and we're going to flip back to Ginny here. So this is Ginny Thrasher, and she is an Olympic shooter, and she's going to talk about this. Come on.
And most of those Olympic games.
Come on, man. How do I have to refresh it? Oh, snap. Somebody's paying a lot of attention to that cream puff.
And most of those Olympic games have one thing in common, except the U.S. Almost all these countries, except the U.S., have government-funded Olympic teams. Now, government funding means they get clear budgets at the beginning of the year. It also means that the staff members actually get to focus on the athletes in that sport. But in the U.S., there isn't government funding. That means funding changes a lot year to year and is based on sponsorships, donations, and previous performance. It also means a lot of people close to the athletes have to spend time raising money to try to send them all around the world to compete, not even knowing until the last minute if they'll be able to go. If you'd like to help, consider becoming a member of your favorite national governing body, like USA Shooting, for instance. All money from your membership goes to helping athletes like me travel around the world and compete to the best of our ability. All of these countries have Olympic teams, and most of those Olympic teams have one thing in common, except the U.S. Almost all these countries, except the U.S., have government-funded Olympic teams. Now,
So I just thought that was interesting. I'm not an advocate for government funding of the teams, but it is, I didn't realize, or if I did, I didn't remember that the athletes need to fund themselves. So USA Shooting helps facilitate that. And if you're interested in the United States and our ability to compete, right, and keep the athletes at the levels they need to be for national, international level competition, consider being aware of that, help and advocate for it. I don't necessarily watch the Olympics, but I certainly want our Olympic teams to be good to go. I'm going to go back to the main thing because I technically lost where we're at. So probably refreshing on Ginny's post there. So we're going to go back to saved and then into my main saved folder. And then we'll scroll back a few. We still got a couple of posts before the show's over. All right, so the next one up is another one from Gun Culture 2.0, or David Yamane, the professor from South Carolina who went to the NAGA National Convention this last weekend. And there's some more slides. Give me an idea. See the scale, like the size of the rooms and stuff? It gives you an idea of how big the event was. So it seems like it's about like twice the size of GRPC, maybe 3 times the size of GRPC, which is encouraging. I'm curious to see how big it is compared to USCCA, but I'm also concerned. See, this is one of those pictures I was talking about. See how many chairs aren't even pulled out? That just implies that it wasn't standing room only in this room. But often if somebody's going to sit, they're not necessarily going to sit in the first row of something like this either, if they're not working with the guy. So, I just don't know. It's a tough thing to figure out from just a few pictures. But it says, busy morning at the National Convention. I went to new member orientation with Chad King of the Black Bottom Gun Club with basic pistol mini taught by a team of instructors. Was interesting that they included defensive considerations in the basic pistol curriculum. And I'm wondering why Professor Yamane thinks that's interesting. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I mean. He's kind of new to guns, and why is he commenting on why the topics of instruction are evolving in basic instruction in 2023 after what's happened in the last few years. So I'm wondering if he's thinking of that from a recent perspective or from the more broad perspective and the consequences that creates for the rift between the NRA inside the home and outside the home firearms training and the consequences that has. So anyway, really cool. Just to see some insight to the convention. Really wish I would have been able to get to that one. It's been 3 years in the making. I think 4 years maybe in the making. It was supposed to happen in 19, I think, and then it didn't, and then they couldn't in 20, and they couldn't in 21, and then they thought about it last year, and they did it this year. So I think you'd call that 4 years. So it's pretty sweet. This is SuperVal, the company that Lee Juris created. SuperVal stands for Super Velocity. It talks about how he invented the first hollow point, which he took which he called the jacketed hollow point. He took a 35 caliber Spitzer rifle bullet and he cut it in half and to expose the lead core, and then drilled a cavity into the lead, and then he shot those through a 357 Magnum, and that's where he created the first hollow points. By testing that and figuring it all out, you now have 9mm able to be useful, because without hollow points and whatnot, 9mm would be useless, like everyone knows it is. Got Citizens Defense Research. If you ask 100 people why they bought a gun, most would answer for home protection. The reality is that most violent crime happens out in public spaces. What kind of public spaces? Well, many predators in nature don't track their prey. Instead, they wait at watering holes for the prey to arrive. Human predators are no different. They loiter at human watering holes, waiting for an inviting target to come along. Those watering holes are overwhelmingly parking lots outside grocery stores, gas stations, and shopping centers. These places we most frequently go are also statistically the places we are most likely to be targeted by violent criminals. This means that your favorite gas station, supermarket, or retail store is the location where it is most important you stay off your phone, avoid loitering, and pay attention to your surroundings. You're at a human watering hole. Don't be afraid, but do pay attention. I think that's such a great perspective on it, and you don't get that just kind of sober, actual, real point of view very often if you don't dig into some real instruction. Lots of people blow off instruction, but a lot of times it's just practical advice like this. The next one is from a Girl in a Gun Club. They're just doing a Sunday vibe, I guess. I'm a great believer in luck. The harder I work, the more of it I seem to have.
Vision to carry, whether it's myself.
So the Cape Gunworks show is clicked on. Now our timer is down. We're counting down to ending so that we're right in line with the beginning of Cape Gunworks. So this is from Gun Owners of America, and it says something about Biden illegally bribing states to pass red flag laws, and I have to look into this. I haven't had a chance, but if this is what we saw with the Republican-backed gun control from 2 years ago, last year, that's the results of it, was to send millions of dollars to the states or dangle tens of millions of dollars to the states and say the first 10 states that dance to our tune get to keep this $10 million. If we're just now getting offended by that, we should have been offended since the moment it was voted on by those Republicans, because they're the ones that created it to happen as a preventative to the assault weapons ban that almost immediately followed and almost won by down to the wire, literally down to the hair. Almost had an assault weapons ban right after this. So if this is the end of it, if this is I should say the other side of it, the consequence of it is that we're just going to be offended as the results. I mean, one, we shouldn't forget that we saw this coming. And two, we should have been offended from the moment they decided to spend our own money against us. But it is another fight we've got. So our friends Tactical Medic just happened to get a kind of a shout out here from our other friends at Locksack. Locksack is a female-owned business up in Washington. It's essentially a very, very, very strong Ziploc made in the USA. It's actually a double Ziploc, and it's really designed to hold your wallet and other keys and things when you're scuba diving. And it was such an impressive product that Navy SEALs grabbed it, and she's innovated all kinds of designs for military, aviation, and other high-stress situations. And the results of that are the outdoor community gets a really cool set of products that have been tested and are made in the USA, and really cool. So it's called Locksack, Loksak, and they just happen to be mentioning our friend Tactical Medic there, who was at that gun show that we were just talking about. We're also talking about getting copyrighted. I was just talking about She Fires. This is She Fires at the convention. And so the convention's like the Gun Rights Policy Conference in the respects that it's got to focus on the Second Amendment, and there's training and there's seminars and there's seminar time, I guess you'd call it, conference time. But obviously it's also like an NRA convention in that they have vendors and they have ability to get hands-on product and in this case make reviews. And again, from this, you get some idea of how crowded it is once we get to talk to She Fires. This again, if this was the beginning of the first day and she was one of the first people in the door and she ran over to this booth, that's one thing. If this is the middle of the meat of Saturday and this is the most amount of people in the place, then it seems like kind of sparse. So we'll have to find out what the situation is, but learned a lot from this video. It's awesome. I don't care about the mechanic at all, but I like the event and I like what we're learning from it from She Fires. And then I guess she's got too short going in the background. That's always good. So this one was pretty good from Gunpowder Beauty, who may or may not be out there. Oh yeah, she's out here. I thought this one was pretty awesome. Little baby dragon saying re-release the dragons, yelling and screaming. And then it says, no, Jimmy, you're in timeout. And then you can see that it's a little baby dragon yelling and screaming. So I thought that was pretty good. I don't know if that's, what is that, a anime or something? I don't know if those are from somewhere or if they're just a cartoon, but I thought that was pretty good. Another one from Pets for Vets. It's always funny when somebody's got all the dogs. I mean, this isn't funny now because it's not hot. Or I mean, it's definitely not cold anywhere. But in the winter, this is funny. Looks like a bunch of Spuds McKenzie dogs. Clover went live on Amazon to copy off of us because we've been going live on Amazon. And going live on Amazon is one of the ways that you can make some money. So if you're interested in doing that, this is not the time to not do it. Let's put it that way. Then we've got Riding Shotgun with Charlie posting this Target. I don't know if I like this or not. I don't like political stuff using targets. It gets used against us more than it's useful for us. Let me know what you think. I don't think we win anything by shooting at things, ever. Sorry, I just don't think so. So I posted this one. I want to support Charlie, and he's supporting Cole. It's not like Charlie made this, but I just don't think this is the way to go. It's bad optics and just bad in general. Here She Fires again, posting from the event, and again getting an idea of from the backgrounds and who's all there and who she's hanging out with. One, just catching up with She Fires, seeing who she's hanging out with and how she's growing as a channel and whatnot. But again, also super interested to see, look how big this room is. So their event was in a pretty big room. Is this a mall? See, I can't figure out what that one was. And, again, this is a different kind of event than some of the others. And some of the others might start it with a prayer, right? Some of there's the Gun Rights Policy Conference will start and end with a prayer. NRA probably starts with a blow-off prayer, like we're praying, and then also a blow-off Pledge Allegiance, maybe the song. The pledge, and then maybe the song. So I'm wondering how the convention started. They did start with that drum crew though, so probably from, I think it says in one of these, but some kids from the area probably. So Tactical Medic, we were talking about, drove 1,800 miles each way, 1,600, I don't know, whatever it is for him, each way to go to Tulsa. And on the way back, he says, well, it's officially a road trip. The passenger side brake caliper locked up as he was pulling off the highway. Luckily, he was just a half a mile from this guy's truck and trailer shop, and he gives the address in Hamilton, Alabama, got him fixed up and on his way. I don't know about you, but if you're looking at this, this is the garage I would trust on the road. I do not trust industry in like the nationwide chains unless I have to. I'd go to somebody like this who knows what they're doing and understands how to save me money and keep my van going. So sorry to hear that our friend had trouble, but unfortunately that's just the way it is when you're driving around. You got horses and cars and vehicles, you're going to have issues. It's just part of the adventure and the whole thing. But got to meet somebody along the way, and obviously they got a flag flying up there the wrong way, but whatever. This one again is from Colion Noir, saying Matthew McConaughey wants gun owners to take responsibility for criminals' actions. And of all the snarky, jokey bullshit I've seen all week from this guy, I didn't even pay attention to what this guy said. I've never even bothered to look at what this guy said, but this response from Colion Noir, I think, is the best effort at actually challenging and rebuting, is that the right word, the issue. It says on the side here, actor McConaughey is marketing himself as the reasonable voice in the gun debate after the Uvalde spree killing. I don't know why they keep using their words. He sat down with ABC News for a conversation about gun control, and I've got to say, a lot of what he's saying is insidiously deceptive. When you talk about nothing getting done, it's a slick way of saying more gun control. Matthew, whatever, wants to change gun control to gun responsibility. But no matter what words you use, it still means more gun restrictions on law-abiding citizens. McConaughey may think he's doing something new, but the gun control lobby has been using soft language for years. They know it's a way to feed uninformed voters poison, making them swallow their agenda without realizing it. Matthew, I appreciate your passion, but you need to have a real conversation with the gun community. Don't just talk to the left-leaning media or politicians who don't care about our Second Amendment rights. Come to us, hear our voices, and let's find real solutions together. I'm not doubting your intentions, but we need actions, not just words. Until you engage with the gun community and listen to our concerns, it's all just an act. Let's have an honest discussion and work together to find real solutions for a safer America. Join me in this important conversation by hitting that play button now. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's an awesome rebuttal, response, whatever, to this concept. I think that is one of the best. He's a lawyer, but, you know, he says it in such a common way, like those are regular words, but they are exactly parrying the bullshit that the other side is attempting with this. This is a massive shift of the Overton window. When they do stuff like this, they do some A and B testing. They figure out the stuff that doesn't work, it just doesn't fail. And then they cram the non-failing shit through. So this is a great way to illuminate that, especially if you're having a conversation with somebody who's not paying attention to what they're regurgitating. I really, really like this post. Tony Simon out there eating weird ass pizza. I don't know what the hell. I mean, New Jersey. I mean, Tony. You'd think Tony knows how to figure out a pizza or whatever. Look, I'm mostly vegan, so I'm not saying nothing. But you like those looking pepperonis on that thing? Look like some kind of goofiness, some kind of alien pepperonis. That cheese one looks okay, maybe. Like that's okay, maybe. But I'm not. Look at this. Is there lettuce on that shit? There's lettuce on there. And what is this? Pineapple and ham? And then what is that? If they call that a Chicago pizza, they need to be kicked in the gonads. So I don't know what's going on here. But Tony, come on, man. Soprano's pizza? Come on. I'll eat them. I'm eating that cheese one for sure. But I don't get what's going on with those pepperonis, and I don't understand that lettuce. I think it's a Big Mac pizza now that I'm looking at it. Come on, man. Come on. Next up is Sin Lad. She's a DC Project here in Arizona. And this says, hold on. He's touching his ear to the cream puff. What do we call this? I think this is him trying to get really close to the cream puff. And then he's going to whip his head around, pull one of them, moves. Cream puff, bad dog. We're just seeing what's going on here. So we've got Town Hall. Why aren't female victims of domestic violence told the best way to protect themselves? I don't know what this means. But it says, but a woman carrying a concealed handgun reduces the murder rate for women by about 3 or 4 times more than a man doing the same. $65 for 3 hours of pistol training for women. Invest in yourself and protect you and your family's future. I'm not going to read the rest of that because it's bullshit. But I'm going to actually unlike this one. That's too bad. Not everybody is on our side out here. Sin Lad is okay, but she's quoting somebody on that one that's not on our side. So this is Ed's manifesto. Dang, you're not going to be able to see this one good. See if I can zoom in on it. Sometimes I got to go backwards to make these get bigger. Dang. So that is a tire iron, and she took the tire iron driver off the one end, and it just unscrewed. And then she put a 25 ACP or maybe a 380 in there, something center fire, and then screwed the shaft / barrel back on, and then it's a slam fire. She's showing it's like a trombone. So essentially, it looks exactly like a socket. There's no way to tell anything except that there'd be a line in it, 2 lines in it, I guess, maybe 1 line, and yeah, you'd be able to shoot a 25 very effectively. And I really screwed up my sizing here, so thanks Ed for posting that, but he did it in a horrible size. Here's another one from Ed's manifesto, though, and it says, blind man harvesting chili in Chihuahua. The endurance and work ethic that my people show is always humbling and powerful to witness. It makes me want to strive to be better every day. So for people that aren't looking at this is a dude with a cane walking out of a field, a plowed field, with, what do you call those, 50-pound bags of chili? Probably, it's hard to know because they're right out of the field. They're still wet. So giant 30-gallon bags, one on his back, one on his shoulder, with his cane coming out into the scrub desert next to the plowed field, kind of hanging out until one of the other workers hauled ass past him, and then he's moving on again. But yeah, we're going to keep going no matter what. Remember where you're at compared to where everybody else is at, and get to work. It's a good post. I like it. Ed's Manifesto is an awesome channel to check out. We got a gun show in Tucson. It'd be awesome if they paid me to promote these things, but I got to keep gun shows going. We don't get that many of them. This is Bloomberg. Says, we've obsessed with these before and after. We are obsessed with these before and after photos from our asphalt art initiative. This program makes streets safer, revitalizes public spaces, and engages the community. I don't know how much time we got. Cape Gunworks is still showing a commercial for PDN training. So while everybody's still getting ready over there, I'm going to read some of these comments. Plant more trees. I'd love to see funding being spent on this instead of the homeless issue. I'm glad the government has once again spent millions of unneeded tax dollars on something. Better idea, make the city more walkable. Before and after the concrete, why not, look at this one, why not actually do the things? They didn't even repaint the fucking slides. And this one too, they didn't even repaint the things. They just painted their propaganda on there. Doesn't this make it easier for drivers to get distracted? Then it's got this guy doing a burnout, because the first time some kid does a burnout, that's a massively wasted money, right? And that's exactly what's going to happen. Y'all didn't repaint the faded crosswalk while you were doing this. And then somebody goes, y'all will find anything to complain about. So it's just a good example of how dumbass government spending is, how somebody with an agenda and a need can figure out a way for government to pay for it. And this one is definitely, there's a couple of them, but this one is definitely dangerous. These are less so, but to some extent they're dangerous because it looks like there's a massive bus zone or a walking zone. This one just looks like communism, but this one is massively dangerous in my opinion. There's like, that obscures the actual reason you have paint on the ground, and it makes it just very difficult for the drivers to figure out what's going on. So the fact that they're happy about this waste of money, that's annoying. Anyway, let me uncheck that because I definitely don't want no Bloomberg shit in my shit. I just wanted to bring it up to make fun of it. But that was an ad. Bloomberg paid for that to be in front of me. I just decided to make fun of it. But they paid for that to be on my feed. Here's Chicago Mike. I don't know, Chicago Mike out there right now? This is him shooting in a match. Everybody hears about Chicago Mike all the time when he's posting. But when he's not driving around, he's shooting matches. Actually, I think he said he hadn't shoot a match in a while. But you can watch him, check that out. This is from those 2A cops again. We got about a minute, so I'm trying to hurry up. Expensive rifle, night vision, full kit, and cardio. It's a great meme, and it's to show you that unless you're healthy, unless you're able, you can't buy being able. You know what I mean? You have to figure it out and do it a bunch of times, and then figure it out again. I don't know why they got, what's this guy on here? Oh, I guess it's his quote. Funded by the government just means funded by the people. Government, by the way, has no money. It only takes money from the people. Sometimes people forget that's really what occurs. I don't know if you needed to hear that, but you heard it again. This is an AR-180. You probably didn't know what this is or need to see it, but those of you that did, appreciate it. And if you haven't, you're welcome. This is better than an M16, and it's a hybrid of an M16 and an AR-15 made by Stoner. And for whatever reasons, it never took off, but it's a better gun than the M16, and it's almost an it's almost an AK-47. Tony, our friend, does the diversity shoots. He's got one coming up this Thursday from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Union Hills Gun Club in, I believe that's in New Jersey. And this is Kirsty from the Heller Foundation posting about it. Yeah, it said New Jersey, right? Or no, that was one from New Jersey, but his one coming up is in New Jersey too, I think. Then we've got Chicago Mike posting some of the stuff that he grabbed from our store. We do appreciate it when people buy stuff from our store. It helps keep us in business and growing. We're barely getting by right now, so any purchasers from the store definitely help. Much appreciated. This is from the NRA, and it's just annoying, but I'm posting it anyway. The Chicago mayor, the new Chicago mayor, boosted his own detail 65% to over 149 officers, while at the same time cutting patrol officers by 30%. So these kind of statistics get you pissed, but just another piece of knowledge that if you're having a conversation with an anti, you can help illustrate how they really aren't necessarily ramping up police to help you. They're simply disarming your neighbors to try to help you, right? Not everybody's going to get it, but some people will. We've all got our friends out there. This is, I'm trying to think of her name now because I always think of her as the Instagram name. But, Sharon is, it's S.A. Hinchcliffe. That's what it is. This is her personal account, but she posted something here. I'm not sure. It's kind of being vague about it, but keep people in your thoughts. Not everybody is going groovy out there, and we have some people that have helped a lot in the past that, just keep everybody in your thoughts out there. There's Tony posting about, again, the diversity shoot on Thursday. Stephen Holbrook posted about being a guest on a show talking about his rifle book. And Chris in the 740 will be live this evening talking with She Fires. I'm going to have to miss this one because I got something happening in real life. But that's super cool. Definitely check that out. Another post from the convention. This one, again, showing some of the breakout sessions, I believe. And again, giving us an idea of the scale and the number of people that attended. There's Ozzy's post that we started this whole thing off adding, and then Cape Gunworks with their throne of ammo. And we'll end this by closing out the Instagram and bringing it over to Cape Gunworks that just started live. We're going to recommend again that you check out the Cape Gunworks show. It's a great interactive Second Amendment focused radio show / podcast out of Massachusetts. I've been watching them now for about a year, and it's hands down the best hour or two you're going to spend with the Second Amendment all week long. With that, thanks everybody for joining us here. If you're a subscriber over on Instagram, say hey, and we'll flip back quickly to the puppy cam. And anybody who thought that this puppy cares that much about cream puffs, nah, he could care less about cream puffs. Puppy. Here, I'm letting him lick the cream puff now. Let's see what he thinks. He's got cream puff on him. Yeah, now he likes cream puffs. All right, I've created a cream puff monster. We're ending this thing. And I got to remember which side he licked off of.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.